I made a finger mouse. Well, what can it do? It can do just about anything as a regular mouse. It's just a lot cooler. So let me show you how I made it. I started off with a cheap mouse and I needed three parts off of this, which was the mouse wheel, the left click button and the right click button. It was a pretty straightforward board. I just had to unsolder those parts, and the plan was to extend these parts to go till my finger. So I used a bunch of jumper wires and soldered them to each part. The tricky part for here was to think of some way to get the mouse wheel scrolling through my finger. I can't put the mouse wheel just like that on top of my finger. I needed a gear ratio or a gear switch to make the scroll wheel work. So as of now, I've soldered these wires and I have to start designing a scroll wheel gear for my finger. And now you could just go through this boring time lapse, or you could skip to the part where I'm explaining about the gear. So now that we have the board ready, I'm going to be making it look a lot neater now because aesthetics are important.
Bruh.
So I have a 65mm x 23mm case, and this is the hollow gear that's going to be the scroll gear. I needed a holder for this on my finger to make it feel a lot comfortable, and I'm planning to use PETG for these parts. It's super easy to print and gives you a stronger layer to layer adhesion. So the first print that I have got was not that great. The hollow gear's diameter was a bit larger than expected. And now this is the base case part that's going to be holding the board, but I forgot to add the switch. So I had to redesign the thing, and I focused on another part and I forgot about the switch of the mouse again.
Bruh.
So the final part has the switch and it has everything else, and even a tiny battery holder just like any other mouse. Everything snapped in well and I'm pretty happy with how the result turned out. So there we have the switch that I was talking about. And now the bare structure is ready and I needed to make it look better. So now we're going to be assembling all these parts, and I needed something to cover the PCB, and I needed a holding structure so that I could move the mouse freely. Everything's working and the cursor moves, every switch is moving, and I'm pretty happy with how everything's going. I just had this idea struck upon to me one day and I was like, I have to do this. So one mistake I did was make the gear directly attached to the mouse wheel holder, but it kept slipping off and it was not a good idea. So instead I made an adapter gear for the mouse wheel that they originally gave with the mouse, and that was a lot better. It snapped in well and it fit without slipping, and now I feel happy with how it's able to scroll. All I needed now was to make it look better, so I made the cover for the mouse, and as you can observe, the tiny button that I have is a DPI button. You could just add a little bit of pressure on the case to your hand and you can just switch to the DPI modes. All I needed now was to hide those wires, make it look a lot cleaner. All I did was use a wire sleeve to hide those wires and it was good to go. I used the receiver given by the manufacturer and nothing more. And I was pretty satisfied with the result. I was able to move the cursor well, it felt smooth, and the best part was scrolling using the gear that I made, and everything works well. The left click, the right click, all using just my thumb. If you felt this video was entertaining, you can drop a comment or you can share your thoughts, or if you think this was in the best way, well, it was just an idea, and I hope this was not that boring of a video. And if it wasn't, please drop a like, and you could see more stuff like this, or just think that was just another video in your recommendation.